Hey guys, the X9 Green here, making another quick video to help you all out. This is a clutch, primary clutch off a 2000 Arctic Cat Powder Special 600. We've had it since it's been brand new and it's got about 3,000 miles on it. What happened to it is the other spider went bad. This is a used spider I'm going to try to put on there. Why I had it apart though, and the original bushing was still in here, I was lifting it up and it was rocking back pretty bad, back and forth, too far. I felt like the old bushing was played out. So there's going to be a couple issues if you run into that. First issue is that Arctic Cat does not sell that part anymore. So you got to buy them from a few places. There's a couple spots that I found it was SLP.com, I believe. It stands for Starting Line Products. They still sell stuff for all the major snowmobile dealers. And so otherwise, for the Arctic Cat, you have to buy a whole new sheave with the new bushing, which I didn't want to spend the money on this older sled. So a few issues I ran into was, one, getting the old bushing out. You need to first get this C-clip style out, which was a pain because it had been in there for 17 years and never moved. And you can see that there's a pointy end and there's a flat end. That pointy end is when you got to kind of grab to get it started, and then you got to work its way out. This came out, it was pretty tough. I had to put penetrating oil on it, heat it up with the heat gun and a few other things. Still really hard to get out. And when I actually pulled it out, this was pretty bent up. I've actually straightened it out, so it looks nicer. I'm going to reuse that. When I got this is the old bushing. When I got it out, it's black. It was pretty worn. It felt like the sidewalls were thin. This is all smooth on top and the bottom right now on the edges because I grinded it flat. But the original one had a chip out of the top, and with that chip and seeing how loose it was on the shaft, you can see it's not crazy loose, but I just felt like it needed to be replaced. So I ordered the new one through SLP.com, and it was like $15. The other issue is it's to get that reinstalled perfectly. They also Fett Brothers actually sells a tool. It's $25 just for the tool. I didn't really want to spend the money on the tool, so I decided to try to make my own and do it that way. So I went to a good old place that's near and dear to my heart, Harbor Freight. They had this Pittsburgh driver seal kit, and I was going to see if I could kind of make that work, and it actually ended up doing pretty good. So I shimmed this out a little bit with some washers, but you can see showing me the old one. It gave me a lip to start in to get the bushing over, and you can see this doesn't fit perfectly, but it fits about as tight as it does on the main shaft. And you're going to put that down in your sheave, and you're going to drive it down all the way until it hits flush. It's going to hit flush right on here and on the top of the sheave. Now the problem is you're not done there. If I show you this sheave, you can see the little line. I haven't put the C-clip back in there. So that little slot, the bushing, and that's the new bushing in there, needs to be pushed past that. Well, you got to be careful because you have a very small edge you're working with, and you don't want to ruin that at all. So instead of buying the $25 tool, like I said, I took my old bushing and made it nice and flat on the top and the bottom because it was a little bit messed up. And you'll see when you put it on here, you still have a little bit of inner support from the driver, and then you have the bushing be nice and flat. So I'll show you how it looks like when it goes on here. So if you imagine you're about to drive this straight down, if I pull this off, you'll see that that old bushing is matching up perfectly with the new bushing, and they both have flat edges. So to drive it past that last few millimeters, I drove it down like that, and you'll see once you pull it off, you are past the groove to put the C-clip, and on the other side you can see flush on the bottom. And then, just so you guys can compare, if you wanted to know if yours is too worn out or not, you can see this brand new, never been run on this clutch before. Does have some leeway. So apparently it's supposed to have a smidge there, so it probably doesn't bind or whatnot. But of course this will slide up and down nicely. Anyway, another thing that I thought was cool that I bought from SLP was they had the little, for the bushings on the cam arms, they had this little tool. I've done this before and I've ruined them quite a few times. And this was only around like 10 or 12 bucks, and I was already paying for the shipping, so I bought it. But that's the tool you would put the new little bushing on there to drive it through your cam arm weights, which those go bad faster than anything, so those are what you're going to want to be replacing. So I thought that was cool they had those too. Anyway, hope this helped you guys out. Have a great day. See you in the next one.